Welcome to readers, viewers, and listeners. This is a second take of a new edition that I'm going to be calling "The Power of the Prompt." The reason why I'm doing this for the third time is because I had technical difficulties, as you guys are very well aware of. But I want to just explain a little bit more about the power of the prompt deal. Um, on the Autistic Super channel or on the Autistic Super blog. Um, I'm given prompts that are prompts for bloggers to work off of and kind of answer in their own way. Well, I decided to do it in my own way, but I decided to come up with something called the power of the prompt here for this point of view for the Autistic Super channel because I wanted to share with you a great friend of mine. His name is Scrounger, and he's been with me for a very long time. Um, Bit of a reason why I wanted to share Scrounger with you guys is because as an 80s child, growing up in the 1980s, I always felt a little bit of a kinship, as fellow Spectrumites I know have mentioned that they grew up on Nickelodeon, that they grew up on Sesame Street, they grew up on Rainbow Bright, Pound Puppies, He-Man, all that stuff. Um, and one of the things I like about being an A's kid is because of the fact that I got a chance to not only meet the Pound Puppies, but also meet my friend Scrounger, who's been with me for I want to say 40 years now, maybe less, maybe 35, 40 years. That's not the point. But I wanted to kind of explain. There was a prompt that was given to me when it came to this. It's a prompt 36 on Power of the Prompt. It's called "Describe an item you were incredibly attached to as a youth. What became of it?" Well, as you can tell, this is what came. This is what came out of it. A lifelong friendship that's really stood the test of time when it came to certain situations. Um, to give a bit of backstory here, I actually my brother was actually living in Boston at the time, and it was my first time seeing him. Not only out of state, but it was my first time seeing him outside of the family home. And I wanted something to kind of help me through that tough time. And this is when I got my friend Scrounger for me from a Toys R Us in Massachusetts. So really kind of this little guy has been with me for a while because he's been loyal. He's been trustworthy. He's been someone that I could really trust to and lean on during tough times, but also someone that I can really relate to in times of strife and in times of worrying about certain things. I may not have realized it until recently, but people have told me why I don't get rid of Scrounger, why I don't just sell him or anything like that. Well, the thing of it is, I couldn't think of doing it because, for me, Scrounger's been a lifelong friend of mine, and the reason why you haven't seen him up until now is because, as you can see, my big head kind of covers my big head kind of covers my nightstand is where, and that's where Scrounger usually is most of the time. So usually Scrounger's behind me as I'm recording as I'm recording. So I'm just gonna leave Scrounger here for just a minute. Thank you, Scrounger, and kind of explain how Scrounger and another thing I'm going to get into tie into my autistic self because one other thing that's really got me uh, through my times, as you all know, is my being a poet and me being, well, myself as an autistic poet. Um, I found out that my grandfather, God rest his soul, was a poet when he was living in my dad's hometown of Limerick. There's actually a poem, Gary Owen, that's over at the Horse and Hound over in, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but suffice to say that there's a bar that has a poem of my grandfather's on in a place of prominence. So why do I bring this up? Because my poetry, as I found out through my time of autistic burnout, is how I process my emotions, how I deal with my big emotions, how I deal with the big things that go on in my life. So I wanted to kind of bring that up to kind of explain just why not only is Scrounger important to me, thank you Scrounger, but also my poetry is important to me too. Um, and it's something that I don't really want to lose. And both Scrounger and my poetry is something that I really don't want to let go or give up. Even as people think that it might be time for me to, but I'm not going to. I feel like Scrounger and my poetry mean a lot. I just want to let you know, Scrounger, that you mean a lot to me when it comes to getting through the tough times that I've been dealing with in my life. And I just want to thank you for all you've done for me. And all that my poetry's done for me, too. I mean, which gets me to one reason why I want to use my poetry on this. I've been doing poetry on my SoundCloud for a while now, but I'm also getting full. So I want to just ask you guys, dear readers and viewers, what would you guys think if I took my poetry from SoundCloud over to YouTube? What would you guys think about it? I mean, I want to ask you guys this because I feel like it's important for me to kind of express myself, but I also feel like I want to be able to make sure that I'm doing so that you guys might like. So that's kind of like my whole idea on this. So if you like this video, I hope you like the power of the prompt. Would you like to see this be a regular addition to the Autistic Super channel? Who knows? Let me know in the comments below. But if you like all these videos, check me out here on the Autistic Super channel on YouTube. You can check me out on SoundCloud, on Tumblr, not on Tumblr, but on X and LinkedIn. And you can check out all my videos on the AutisticSuperBlog.wordpress.com. Why don't you say it with me, Scrounger? So until next time, dear readers and viewers and listeners, stay safe, stay strong, and as always, shine on.